have Andrey Esipenko on our screen taking on Anish Giri in the 4th round of the FIDE Candidates 2026.
3rd of April. We are ready to start the round.
Let's go. The round is about to begin. A handshake here. Both Andrey and Anish have had 2 draws and 1 loss, so not a great start to their event, but they are looking for their first win. Pawn to e4 by Esipenko, and Anish goes for the Sicilian c5. Andrey goes knight to f3, and Anish plays his favorite d6, that is the Sicilian Najdorf. Pragnananda had gone for the Grand Prix, but that just works once. You don't have to play it again. Anish would be very well prepared. Andrey goes for the open Sicilian. This is going to be very exciting. Knight takes d4. He brings his knight out to f6, attacking the pawn in the center. And now knight to c3, defending it. We have pawn to a6, pushes the pawn forward. And now bishop to g5. Ooh, the sharpest line in the Sicilian. e6 played. And then bishop to d3. Whoa, this is actually very rarely played because queen d2 and long castle is the main move. Bishop d3 is played so less, but Anish does not even flinch. He instantly goes bishop e7, showing Andrey that he is well prepared. Now queen e2 played. And let's see how quickly Anish responds here. You can see Anish getting up from the chair, removing his jacket. That just goes to show that he is now going to take his time. He's going to think about this position. He's going to recollect his analysis. And he takes roughly 2 minutes only and chops off the pawn on e4. If bishop e7, you have knight takes c3 attacking the queen. So that's the reason why knight e4 by Andrey, and Anish says thank you for the free pawn. But Esipenko has some devious ideas in his mind. He goes knight f5, now attacking g7 and d6. If e takes f5, this opens up and you take this with a check, which is playable. But Anish goes back to e7, defending the d6 pawn. And now boom, knight takes g7 taken with a check. Whoa, king d7. Actually, king f8 would have been not a great place for the king. It would have been weak. But Anish runs with his king to d7. And now Andrey, is he well prepared? He simply castles. And what essentially Andrey is saying to Anish is that how can you be better in this position? Your king is weak. While Anish is saying, I have the bishop pair. I have strong center. Why should I not be better? Pawn to c4 played. Grabbing space in the center, stopping d5. And now Anish's king goes to c8. A dream for Anish would be bishop d7, rook c8, king b8. And that would be short castling on the long side. It goes knight h5. Okay, the knight has to come back into the game. But where is it going? f4, g3, not so sure. And now Anish continues with his plan. Bishop d7 with rook c8 coming, king b8 in the works. And Esipenko, he goes rook to d1. He brings his rook into the center of the position, attacking the d6 pawn. Maybe c5 is somewhere in the air. Some sacrifices have to be made because the king cannot be let to run away. And Andrey Esipenko has 1 hour 41 minutes. Anish 1 hour 17 minutes. b4. He opens up the queen side. He's going b5. If knight takes b4, rook b1. I guess Anish should go back king b8 or maybe e5 to get a square for the knight on the d4 square. But Anish chops off the pawn. He's taking the risk. This is actually getting very intense. What a game this is turning out to be. Both players getting up from their chair every now and then. Rook b1. Now attacking here. Okay, Anish must take on d3. There's also another move, bishop a4, but it's a little bit too much to think of. Yes, knight takes d3, and now very important to take with the rook. And you can see Anish, they're taking rook takes, very important, so that after bishop c6, you can go c5, d5. Okay, let's just first see what he does. No, he takes with the queen, a big mistake. The point is you need to take rook takes, bishop c6, c5, d5, and now this amazing move knight g5, where you have a mate that's happening here, boom, and mate. So actually you needed your queen here, which seems like queen would be better because it can go to g3 and check here. But actually the problem is with queen d3, there's bishop a4 attacking the rook. And that's the problem. This is a moment of accurate calculation that was needed. Rook d3 attacking here, and then bishop c6, c5, d5, knight g5. You needed to calculate this very precisely with this. And you can see Anish is that guy who's going to calculate this precisely, and he plays bishop a4. Beautiful move. He's taken his time, and I think Anish has played this game wonderfully well. Andrey Esipenko, well, it seems like he has everything in this position, but if you have to make a move like rook d2, you know that your position is not good, because now the king can run away. And if you look at the position, black has an extra pawn, has the bishop pair. Yes, the b file is open, but well, the bishop is going to just sit here on c6. He goes rook b2, trying to checkmate on b7. And now a very simple move is bishop c6. You can also play rook c7. That also looks good. And Anish thinking, yes, bishop c6. He defends the pawn, attacks the knight on e4. Pawn to c5 played. Pushing forward. Andrey. He's opening up the diagonal to the queen, pawn on a6. You see there's a pin here. Only move, take the pawn. d5 doesn't cut the deal. d5, queen a6 is winning. So d takes c5, good move. Of course you don't want to trade queens, that's just game over. So Andrey goes and chops off the pawn on a6. And now queen to d5. Finds it, Anish plays it, queen d5, excellent move. The knight is hanging now. He plays pawn to f3, defending it. And rook c7. A very good move. He goes knight g3. Just taking care of this position. And rook to d8. The rook comes into the center of the board. Knight f2. And just pushing the pawn forward with bishop c5 coming in, c3. This looks very powerful. Anish has slightly, was lagging behind in time before, but now has even surpassed that. For Andrey has only 21 minutes. 8 minutes. Anish has 21 minutes. And now f5 played. I think you can bank on Anish to convert this into a win. f5, knight c3 attacks the queen. But now simply queen to c5. And the rook is ready to enter in. You also have bishop f6 at some point. Oof, these bishops are so good. The only thing that white has is some attack, but that's not working out. Rook e2 putting pressure here on e6. And Anish now plays bishop to f6. Even a move like knight b5 doesn't work because you block the b file and b takes a6. The queen is hanging. So knight a4 played. And now he takes bishop a4, queen a4. And it's time to push forward with c3. c3 with the idea of c2. Rook here, and then maybe even getting the rook in, rook d1. So he goes queen c2, blocking the pawn. And the bishop now goes to g5. Very good move. If takes here, then rook d2 is game over. f2 is hanging. So he goes king f1. And now Anish is about to make his queen move. Where exactly? queen c4. Nice move, pinning the rook on e2 and rook d1. And now rook to d2 is a nice blow. He plays it, rook d2, and if you take, I take with the pawn. My pawn is on the 7th rank and it's totally winning. Takes. And bishop takes should also work, but pawn takes is much better. And everything is just falling apart. Andrey resigns. Anish Giri scores his first win of the FIDE Candidates 2026. An excellent game by Anish, who kind of was prepared for Andrey's opening surprise, played his moves well. Andrey got his chance in the game, but responded a bit too quickly when he took on d3. If he had taken with the rook, who knows what the result would be, but after taking with the queen, Anish was clinical and finished off the game to score his first win and reach 50% score in the tournament.